Modern Luxury Garden Seating 2025 teak benches with elegant marble accents. In the evolving landscape of outdoor living, the year 2025 invites us to reimagine the garden, not as a static backdrop, but as a living, breathing extension of the home. Picture it, a space where the seating is not merely functional, not simply a convenience, but an architectural gesture, a signature, a way of saying, "This is who I am," without uttering a word. When I design a garden in this new era, I do not start with flowers or fences. I start with form, with line, with how the human body will inhabit the space. And I ask, where will they pause? Where will they linger? Where will they feel not just comfortable, but elevated? The answer this year comes in the union of warm teak and cool marble. A dialogue between earth and stone, between touch and sight, between tradition and reinvention. Teak, with its rich honey tones and grain like ripples on a calm pond, has been our trusted companion in the outdoors for generations. Its resilience to weather, its ability to stand proudly through sun, rain, and wind. These are not simply functional traits, they are poetic ones. Over time, it transforms. The warm gold yields to a dignified silver, like a wise old friend whose hair has turned to frost, yet whose presence has only deepened in character. I love this transformation. It is design in slow motion, beauty revealed in the passing years. But 2025 is not a year for the ordinary park bench. This is the year of sculptural precision, where a seat can curve like a drifting petal or stretch in horizontal poise, low to the ground, inviting a moment of stillness. We integrate planters directly into the armrests or craft recesses for lighting that glows gently after sunset, so the seat becomes a stage of quiet drama. We let the slats follow the natural arcs of a garden path, so that bench and earth feel born of the same gesture. And then there is marble. Once confined to the echoing halls of palaces, it now steps out into the open air, unafraid of sky and weather. Its surface is cool under the hand, its veins like rivers of mineral history frozen in time. Imagine placing your palm on that polished stone in summer shade, feeling the whisper of mountain origins, the elegance of permanence. I use marble not as ornament, but as counterpoint. A base beneath a teak seat, white with grey veining, grounds the warmth above it. A slender inlay along the backrest becomes a subtle signature, a line that catches the evening light. Together, teak and marble form a balance, a duet between warmth and coolness, between grain and gloss. One invites touch, the other commands attention. One ages into softness, the other remains steadfast. They are not in competition, they are in conversation. I also think about how people live now, fluidly, personally, with a desire for flexibility. So the benches are modular, ready to transform. A quiet corner for a single morning coffee can, with a simple rearrangement, become a gathering place under lantern-lit branches. Cushions in weatherproof fabrics soften the seat without stealing from its silhouette. LED strips hidden beneath the bench edge cast a subtle halo on the grass. And sustainability for me is not a marketing term, it is a responsibility. The teak must be ethically sourced, the marble reclaimed or repurposed where possible. Each decision honors both craft and conscience. We design not to impress for a moment, but to endure for decades. This is the essence of modern luxury in the garden, not an abundance of ornament, but the precision of choice. Every curve, every join, every transition from wood to stone is considered, measured, and refined. So when you step into such a garden, you feel it, not as a display, but as an atmosphere. A sense of calm that has been built piece by piece to feel inevitable. Because in the end, luxury is not loud, it is not rushed, it is the confidence to let space, material, and form speak for themselves, and to let the people who sit here feel that they are part of something lasting. When we move deeper into the concept of modern luxury garden seating, we begin to understand that it is not only about the objects themselves, but about the way those objects orchestrate experiences. A bench is never just a bench. It is a frame for a view, a pause in a journey, a place where conversation unfolds under dappled light. In 2025, every curve of the design, every choice of material is made with the intention of creating these quiet, memorable moments. I often start with the way the seating interacts with its surroundings. Does it nestle into the embrace of a tree's canopy, its silhouette echoing the branches above? Or does it stand confidently on an open terrace, offering an uninterrupted panorama of the horizon? In some spaces, I will align a teak bench along the edge of a reflecting pool, so the surface of the water becomes part of the experience. The bench invites you to sit and watch light dance across the ripples, the marble accents catching the glimmer as the day shifts to evening. The craftsmanship here is critical. Each joint in the teak is not simply functional, it is a sculptural element. The grain is matched so that the wood flows like a continuous line, uninterrupted. Corners are softened, not only for comfort, but to catch shadows in a way that feels deliberate, architectural. The marble is cut with the same precision, its veins aligned so that they guide the eye along the form. This is design as storytelling. The materials themselves are the narrators. I have seen how people respond when they encounter such seating for the first time. They pause before they sit. Their hand moves across the surface of the wood, then to the marble, registering the difference in temperature, in texture. There is a subtle recognition that this is not furniture from a catalogue. This is a piece crafted with intent. That small moment of awareness changes how they inhabit the space. Lighting plays an equally important role in this narrative. During the day, the sun finds its way between teak slats, creating shifting patterns on the stone below. At night, carefully concealed LEDs pick up where daylight leaves off, illuminating the edges of a bench or the marble base in a way that makes it seem to float above the ground. The lighting is never harsh. It is a whisper of light, an architectural glow that makes the space feel alive without overwhelming it. Functionality and flexibility remain at the heart of the 2025 approach. I design seating that can adapt to the rhythm of the household. A modular arrangement may form a long communal bench for a weekend gathering, then be split into intimate pairs for weekday reading or reflection. Integrated storage beneath the seat can hold cushions or throws, so comfort is always close at hand, but clutter never intrudes on the aesthetic purity of the design. The colour palette is intentionally restrained. Warm teak tones harmonise with marble in shades of white, cream or soft grey. Occasionally, a darker stone, charcoal with fine white veining, offers a bolder contrast, creating drama without departing from elegance. This neutrality allows the surrounding garden, its greens, its blossoms, its seasonal shifts, to remain the true colour story, while the seating acts as a timeless anchor. And I must speak of sustainability again, because in modern luxury it is no longer optional, it is integral. The teak we use comes from responsibly managed forests, where each harvested tree is replaced. Marble offcuts from larger architectural projects are repurposed here, given new life as garden elements. This is not only an ethical decision, it is a design choice that adds authenticity. Knowing the marble in your garden once formed part of an old villa or historic building adds layers of meaning that no newly quarried stone can match. In many ways, the garden becomes a gallery. The teak benches and marble accents are not isolated pieces, but curated works that contribute to a larger composition. Pathways, plantings, and water features are arranged with the same precision as the seating, so that every step through the garden reveals a new relationship between the elements. This is where the role of the designer becomes most evident, not in the individual pieces, but in how they are placed in dialogue with one another. What emerges is a sense of completeness, a feeling that nothing is accidental. Every choice is deliberate. The proportions of a bench echo the proportions of a nearby planter. The veins of the marble align with the direction of a stone pathway. The height of the seating complements the height of surrounding blooms, so that when you sit, your line of sight meets a carefully framed view. This is the beauty of 2025's modern luxury garden seating. It is not simply an object you place outdoors, but a catalyst for connection between people and place, between materials and memory, between the comfort of the present and the endurance of design that will remain just as compelling for years to come. As we step into the third layer of understanding modern luxury garden seating, I want to explore the deeper dialogue between material, proportion, and the human experience. In my work, I have learned that luxury is rarely about abundance. It is about precision. It is about stripping away the unnecessary until only the essential remains, and ensuring that essential is executed with an almost obsessive attention to detail. When a guest enters a garden I have designed, I want the seating to feel inevitable, as though it could not have been placed anywhere else nor built in any other way. This feeling comes from a mastery of proportion. A teak bench, for example, is not just cut to a standard size, it is tailored to the specific space. Its length might mirror the breadth of a terrace, its height might align with a marble planter, so that the two read as a single sculptural composition. Even the depth of the seat is carefully considered, deep enough to invite relaxation, yet shallow enough to keep conversation upright and engaged. Marble in this composition is more than a contrasting material. It is a grounding force. I often select slabs whose veining reflects the forms and colours of the surrounding landscape. A bench in a coastal garden might feature pale marble with blue-grey streaks that echo the sea beyond. In a wooded retreat, the marble could carry rich, earthy veining that mirrors the trunks and shadows of the trees. This is not decoration, it is integration. The material itself becomes an extension of the environment. The tactile experience remains paramount. Teak has a warmth under the hand, even on cooler days, while marble offers a crisp coolness, a sensory counterpoint. I want guests to feel these shifts without thinking about them consciously. The sensation becomes part of the memory of the space. It is a subtle reminder that design is not only visual, but physical. You don't just look at a bench, you experience it with your whole body. In 2025, modularity extends beyond form. It becomes a philosophy. The seating can adapt not only to gatherings and solitude, but to the seasons themselves. Cushions in breathable, weather-resistant fabrics can be swapped for thicker, cozier layers in autumn. Integrated heating elements beneath a marble bench top can take the edge off a cool spring evening, while removable shade canopies allow for comfortable summer lounging. The seating becomes a living part of the garden's rhythm, just as responsive as the plants and trees around it. Lighting design also deepens in complexity. Instead of simply illuminating the seating, I now think of light as a way to sculpt the space at night. A teak bench may be lit from beneath, so its shadow stretches across a stone wall, doubling its presence. Small, recessed lights in a marble base might catch the fine veining, turning it into a subtle nighttime artwork. The result is that the garden's atmosphere doesn't end with sunset. It evolves, taking on a quieter, almost theatrical quality. But even in all this refinement, restraint is essential. Modern luxury does not shout, it speaks softly with authority. A single bench with perfect proportions and materials will make more impact than a dozen mismatched pieces. In fact, I often design with the philosophy that less is more memorable. By reducing visual noise, every detail gains importance. The grain of the teak becomes a story. The cool line of marble becomes a signature. Sustainability continues to guide these decisions, not as an afterthought, but as an inseparable part of the design ethic. Using reclaimed marble means each piece carries a history. Perhaps it once stood as part of an ancient column or lined the floor of an old estate. Ethically sourced teak comes from forests managed for longevity, ensuring that the beauty we create today does not come at the expense of tomorrow's landscapes. This approach ensures that the garden's luxury is not fleeting. It is rooted in values that will resonate for years. There is also a social dimension to this kind of seating. I think carefully about how people will interact when they sit. Will their eyes meet easily? Will the arrangement encourage conversation or quiet contemplation? Sometimes I place benches face to face, separated by a low marble table, a stage for dialogue. Other times, a single bench might be oriented toward a sweeping view, encouraging silence and personal reflection. In this way, the seating shapes not only the space ahead, but the behavior within it. Ultimately, in this third layer of exploration, we see that modern luxury garden seating is a balance of art and anthropology. It is the artistry of material, proportion, and craftsmanship, married to an understanding of how people move, rest, and connect. The teak and marble are not just materials, they are actors in a play, each delivering their lines with subtlety and grace. And as the audience, we do not merely watch, we become part of the scene, immersed in a performance that changes with every season, every hour, every shift of light. As we arrive at the final layer of this vision, I want to step back and consider what modern luxury garden seating truly means, not just as a set of design choices, but as a philosophy of living. In 2025, the garden is no longer a passive space. It is a stage for life's quiet rituals and spontaneous moments alike. The seating we place within it is not a supporting character. It is a lead role, shaping how we inhabit and remember the space. When I design with teak and marble, I'm not merely combining materials. I am weaving together contrasts, warmth and coolness, organic grain and refined polish, resilience and permanence. Teak tells the story of time passing. Its surface softens, its colour shifts, its edges gain the patina of countless touches. Marble tells the story of timelessness. It resists the years, its veins frozen in patterns laid down over millennia. Together, they become a dialogue between the fleeting and the eternal. This relationship is what gives the seating its emotional weight. A guest may sit without knowing the history of the teak forest or the quarry from which the marble came, but they will feel a sense of significance. The proportions are right, the textures complement each other, the placement captures the light. These elements combine to create an unspoken understanding. This is a place worth pausing in. In many ways, the most successful designs are the ones that disappear into their environment while simultaneously elevating it. A teak bench with a marble base might appear as though it has always belonged beneath a certain tree or at the edge of a particular terrace. When this happens, the design has moved beyond style into something more profound. It feels inevitable, as though nature itself collaborated in its creation. The practical side of modern luxury is also worth noting. In 2025, functionality is never sacrificed for beauty. The bench that holds a sculptural presence in the day may also conceal subtle conveniences, a hidden charging port for a device, discreet drainage channels to prevent water pooling after rain, removable sections for easy maintenance. Marble is treated to resist staining from leaves or spills. Teak is finished with protective oils that maintain its beauty without obscuring its natural grain. The result is a space that invites daily use, not one that demands constant protection. Lighting, once again, plays a transformative role in this final layer. I imagine a garden at twilight, the marble edges catching the last warm rays of the sun, the teak seat glowing softly, and as the light fades, a gentle wash of illumination, revealing the form anew. It's the kind of transition that makes you linger just a little longer, not because you must, but because you can't quite pull yourself away. The luxury here is not in excess, but in intentionality. It is in the way a single bench can anchor an entire garden, or how a small marble-topped side table can feel as considered as the largest architectural element. It is in the seamless flow between indoors and outdoors, where materials, colours, and proportions carry a consistent narrative through every threshold. Sustainability remains the quiet foundation of the entire vision. The conscious choice to use resources responsibly is itself a form of luxury. The assurance that beauty does not come at the expense of the world beyond the garden walls. In this, the design gains an invisible strength, one that will resonate long after trends shift. In the end, modern luxury garden seating is not defined by price tags or grand gestures. It is defined by presence. By the way, a bench can feel as though it has been waiting for you. By the way, marble can reflect the mood of the sky. By the way, teak can hold the warmth of the sun into the evening. It is the merging of craft and environment, the layering of comfort and elegance, the balance of nature and human touch. When all is done and the garden stands complete, the seating does not demand attention, it earns it. People will find themselves drawn to it, sitting longer than they intended, noticing details they hadn't seen before. And that, to me, is the greatest measure of success. a design that does not just occupy space, but transforms it into a place where moments, both small and significant, can unfold naturally. In that quiet alchemy, the garden becomes not only a reflection of design skill, but a reflection of the life lived within it.